shouldn't wear this.
Too late. It's too late, bro.
Damn. Because this is a logo. I really don't want to.
Then take it off, I guess.
I'm not taking it off in front of everyone. Hold on.
At least get out of the frame. Anyway, welcome to the greatest colloquy and cactus on Earth. I don't know if I said that. It's your boy.
Colloquy and cactus in existence. It's supposed to rhyme.
Does it rhyme? Does it rhyme? Do you really rhyme? Spit a hot 16 right now.
I give you like Eminem. Be like the Dilladone on the Shillerone, you know? The video you showed
the Eminem fans are gonna come catch you right now.
But anyways, yeah, welcome to the greatest colloquy and cactus in existence, yada yada, all that noise, right? And today I have with me the human calculator with the numerical nomenclature, Raytron, uno, dos, tres. And today, I'll just move on to myself first. And you have me, the strongest man in the universe. You can't really see the biceps that much underneath the, it's a little loose, but the strongest man in the universe. He who guards the bicep. Vanguard. Go at a bicep. But anyways, today we have no plans. We have no Nas fans, and there definitely is no man. EJ couldn't be here with us today because he decided that going to a concert for his favorite artist was more important than sitting here with us. Yeah. Yeah, EJ is at a Nas concert. So he's finally being true to his nomenclature, the ultimate Nas fan. Anyways, what you been up to, man?
I had a lot to do today. I had to get 4 new tires for my car. Got a wheel alignment.
I'm just gonna cut you off right there. That sounds boring. Keep going.
It's really it. Like, I went to the gym. Had to run errands for the moms, bro. I don't know what it is about. Like, I don't know if this is just colored people's parents, bro. But I put my shoes on and they just spawned. They're like, "Oh, you going outside?" Coming up with the fucking shopping list of shit you gotta do for them. It's like, since you already gonna be outside, it's like, bro, I had a plan. I was gonna be outside for a very specific amount of time, bro. In my mind, I was like, I'm gonna go to the gym, get the tires, 1, 2, 3, back home. I didn't get home until like 4 o'clock, bro. I left at like 11. I didn't get home till 4 p.m. And I was like, where did my day go?
Yeah. That's like when I'll go visit my mom just to do like a couple of things, and then before I know it, I've been gone for 10 hours, and I'm just like, now, it'll be like I'm supposed to come home and do the stream, and I'm trying to explain to her, like, Mom, I literally have to do something. It's like, Mom, you literally, like, you've left it, so now I only have an hour to go do the thing I got to do. You ruined everything. And she sits there putting on that face as if she cares for that split second, like she feels guilty, but she doesn't really give a fuck.
So you're gonna do the thing for me or not? No, that ass. Oh my god, it's so crazy. Or my mom's specific brand of asking for errands is like, how long are you gonna be gone? Because she wants to take the car somewhere, and she's like, oh, come on, 30 minutes. I'm like, you gonna be gone all day. And this is just her way of getting me to do the thing for her, because I know if I let her go, she's not coming back. So I gotta go. And it's like,
oh. Yeah, that's what they do. And it seems to be a colored parents thing because it's just white people don't have to deal with this as often, because usually in white, this is gonna sound weird, but in white environments, there's a certain amount of money, their things are set up. They didn't have to rely on their children. Their children have chores, obviously, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But they don't have to rely on their children to do a lot of the heavy lifting. I feel like in Black families, like, you remember you talk about how, like, money, your family came into more money as time went on. Those old habits don't go away. Where it's like when you didn't have that much money, and you had to be working all the time. You had to be working to make money, and you don't have time to pay a babysitter or anything, and all those kind of stuff. The eldest son has to become the other parent. You got 3 parents now,
brother. It was wild because, like, it really was that if my mom or anyone in the house had to go anywhere, they was like, lock the door and don't talk. No, don't answer this door for nobody. I got my key. Don't answer the door for nobody. Now I'm like, my mom's like, oh, I want to go to the store for 30 minutes. I was like, go ahead. She's like, but I can't leave your brothers alone. I was like, what do you mean? The TV watching them, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah. With the old habit of asking you to do things because you
Oh
were
yeah,
the
she's like,
elder.
oh, can you watch them? I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean
Yes.
watch them, bro? They're okay. And then, bro, they hit me up to order Domino's for them.
Yes.
Bro, I was in Binghamton. I was in Binghamton, New York. My parents is down in NYC. They would call my phone and be like, son, can you order me a pizza? I was like, what the fuck?
It's weird that your dad seems savvy
No, it was
enough.
my mom. My dad don't order. My dad don't order food. He don't order food. He go to the Jamaican spot. If we eating out and my dad's getting it, it's the Jamaican spot.
Yeah.
And
And
he'll
even
go
then,
pick
it's
it
like,
up.
if you have a car, why order the food most of the
But
time?
my
You
mom
know?
doesn't leave the house, bro. Bro, if my mom went to work and came home, she's not leaving the house again. You gotta wait for tomorrow. She's not leaving the house again.
I mean, speaking of colored folk, did you hear about Idris Elba's recent comments
No,
regarding
actually,
his race? Oh,
no.
he ignited quite the firestorm
Because
because he
Idris
said
Elba is like the black guy. Like what? Like
the
what did he
black guy.
say? What did he
He
say?
said he said that he stopped calling himself a black actor because it creates limitations for his career. You know, people were accusing him of denying his blackness and all that stuff. And John Boyega had to jump in to be like, "You guys are not getting what he's saying, and you're actually absolving the true the true conspirators of their part in this massive conspiracy." I don't know if conspiracy is the right word, but you're absolving the true criminals. You know, the people
I
who do
can
what he's saying.
I can kind of
Yeah.
understand what he means, where he's like he doesn't want to be casted as the black guy, because hell, he is the black
Yeah.
guy, right? But
Yeah. Yeah.
but to say it like that, it's just so like weird, you know.
I mean, I agree with him. I 100% agree with him. I don't
Like
think
I
he said
agree
anything
with the idea,
true.
but the way he said it, it's just like, yo, brother, what's going on here?
See, I don't like when people do this thing where we gotta mince words, and we
We
gotta do this.
always gotta mince words, bro. That's how this works.
People need to learn to grow up and stop being babies. Because the
Because
man did
like
not
if you
say,
really do take it out of context, he's like imagine it's just like I don't like to call myself a black actor. You're like, what the fuck does that mean?
yeah, but he explained it in his original thing that it creates.
But I'm not listening to the original thing. I'm listening to what you said about him.
Yeah, and I said exactly that. I said he does not identify
And how
himself as
many
black.
other people are doing that though?
Yeah, no,
How
white
many
people
people?
don't have
No, I'm
white
saying
people
like
don't.
how many other people are explaining that what else he did? Because I just told you about how my friend's teacher is under fire for the same shit, where he said something, it's been taken out of context now, and he's getting in a lot of trouble.
I mean, I don't think it's on the fault. I mean, sure, of course, you can be more careful for yourself, but I
Isn't that
think when
what you
you,
were saying? You gotta be thinking these 5D chess about what you say.
I did say that, but that was in regards to normal people. I think if you're fucking famous, you shouldn't have to do
But
that.
he's always talking to normal people though.
True. Well, what I'm saying is like in terms of right now, I can't, and even then, I usually don't, to be honest. Like, I I will be careful with things I say, but that's me just not saying them. If I know that saying this thing is gonna, enrage some people, I just won't say it. But usually when I do share an opinion on something, I'll just say it like however I want to. And like I told you, sometimes I'll double down when someone accuses me of a certain thing as a joke to make fun of them. I
Yeah,
will,
you don't gotta explain it to me. I know, I know.
yeah,
Man, I can be like, oh man, he's gonna do the thing now, and man, like I'm ready for it.
yeah.
But
But what I
like
was
I
gonna
said,
say is
I agree with what he said.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
not crazy. It's not crazy to me because I understand it. Like he doesn't want to be typecast really, and it happens. It
yeah,
happens to everyone, not just black actors. All actors. All actors get typecast. So you don't
yeah.
want to
But
like.
non-black actors don't have to be deal with being called a white actor isn't called a white actor
Yeah,
or an Irish actor. They're just an actor.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's only Latino. If you're Latino, you're a Latinx actor. All
just
this
think about
nonsense.
Antonio Bandera. He was like the Hispanic guy, right?
Yeah, and he's still the Hispanic guy to this day.
And then what is it? Sofia Garcia, I think her name is.
Vergara. I think.
Sofia Vergara, with the lady with the
Hispanic.
really thick accent.
Yeah, but I
But
mean, she leans into it sort of.
like for a while, she was just like, if I need someone with a thick accent, you just like hit her up.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah, and
was it.
somehow,
It wasn't for her acting skills. It was like, you are clearly a Hispanic, and that's what we need in this role.
yeah, Hispanics have actually talked a lot about this, where they'll find it annoying that they're not given certain roles, or like I'm trying to remember what this person said. Basically, if you're a darker skinned Hispanic, you're never cast as an Hispanic person. You only cast as black people, and they always found that very strange, and they didn't like it
Well,
because it
yeah,
was weird.
because
Yeah.
that's not what the majority think of when they think Hispanic person, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
if you're
Well,
a
you should see what people
really
saying
light
it.
skinned Indian person, you're probably not getting cast as the 7-Eleven worker,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it was
which
crazy because
is just
like the
wild thing
people
to
that were
say.
saying it, yeah, the people that are saying it, I'm looking at them, but they're not even that light skinned in terms of Hispanic people. I was like, oh, that's interesting that they deal with this, but whatever. But yeah, like we were saying, if you're an actor outside of the colored community, we'll say, you don't have to deal with these labels being placed upon you.
Hmm.
And even like there's this writer, Christopher Priest, right? Well respected writer within the comics community. He recently made some statements about how he was starting to get annoyed because, like, for most of his life, he would just be given characters, whatever character needed a write. They would call Christopher Priest. Christopher Priest is crap. Christopher Priest. Christopher Priest is a Priest. Christopher Priest is black, right?
Yeah.
And he's written some great characters. He had a celebrated run on Black Panther. That's like one of the few black characters he's written, actually. Like he hasn't written that much. But then in recent times, suddenly he started to notice this like spontaneous like multiplication of the black characters he was writing. Like it was like they would only call him in to write black characters, and he got annoyed by that. He was like, I like I'm a writer. I can write any character. I
Well,
can
there's
write
also just been this thing where
character.
people is like, if you are a voice actors, it's like if you're not the same color as the character, you can't voice them,
Yeah,
and it's just a thing that people have been like advocating for, and
yeah,
it's backfiring because it's backfiring because it's not giving colored people the chance to voice more roles. It's just
it's
taking
lessening the
like,
role.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like, all right, now you can only voice black people, and there's
Mhm.
what, 3 black people every like season. Like I mean, like real life season. In the summer, there's only 3 new black characters that need to be voiced. So that means call up your local black person because they're the only person who could do it, right? And if there's a white person in the role, like a white character, they're not getting voiced by a black person or any other colored person. Like they're not, because that's what you wanted, right?
I mean, you're touching on something because like there's something that he said where he was talking when Twitter went crazy and was trying to put him on the, 'cause, he's a black man, so he's not allowed to speak or have opinions.
Shut up
So
and dribble, bro.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Shut up and dribble. Yeah. They're like, there isn't a soul on this earth that can question whether I consider myself a black man or not. Being an actor is a profession, like being an architect. They're not defined by your race,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great point. It's very true. It's like acting is literally the idea of transforming yourself into another person. Sure, on some level, it has to be something in which the suspension of disbelief can happen. Like, if he walked on stage talking about he's George Washington and they did nothing to alter his appearance, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be hard to accept, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, it's like you should be able to play whoever not whoever you want to, but whatever role has been written. If you can act that role to a level or to a
It's like
great
if you can
degree,
play the character, you can play the character.
exactly. If you can play the character, you can play the character, right? So like you said, all you're gonna do by forcing people, oh, you're doing exactly what he said. He doesn't want to use the black actor label anymore because maybe he's been noticing that his roles are being limited. Because it's like I'm sure the man's not just talking out of his ass.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He just wake up in the morning and decide to just say some shit for no reason. So so yeah, it's like he probably started to notice his roles were becoming weirdly stereotypical and he didn't like it, you know? Um, so yeah, you're just gonna limit people's roles by enforcing all this. I don't know how to even describe what they're talking about. Do they call it, like cultural? I guess anti-cultural appropriation is what they want to say it is, right?
I don't know what it is, cause bro, it's getting to the point where it's like, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we
Indeed,
doing? Because it's like
indeed.
I feel like people aren't really understanding what they want right? It's like, do you want more colored people to have roles of voice acting? Then you got to advocate for that. You can't just be like, oh, I got an idea. What if only colored people can voice colored people? That's not your goal. Like, you just want
No,
more people of color to. I don't even like saying that, people of color. That's just fucking goofy.
people call it BIPOC.
What is BIPOC even?
I don't remember, but it's something stupid. Give me a
Because
second.
like POC was people of color, but what is the BI for?
I think it has something to do with
Black,
it's like, yeah,
indigenous, and people of color.
there we go.
Wait, wait,
Yeah,
wait, wait. So black people aren't even people of color?
I guess that's Latinos now.
But wait, so like I'm not even a person of color?
You know, you're just a black. You're just a black boy. You black.
wait, so
Yeah, you hear that, donkey?
wait, so I'm not even a person of color? That's crazy.
No, you just black, bro. You the same color as the fucking
Like they
fucking,
so
you the same
people
color as
who
the
were
fucking road
they just
apparently.
didn't want to be associated with black people that much that they took us out of people of color?
Yeah,
Isn't that insane?
which is what
And
I
no one can tell
predicted.
me that's not what this is. No one can tell me that's not what this is.
That is they will tell you that's not
There's
what it is.
no way you could like that's what they'll say with their mouth. But come
Yeah,
on, bro. Like people of color was all inclusive, it was everyone else. But now there's black, indigenous, and
I
what
mean,
is
if you really
indigenous
think
even
about it,
for, bro?
people in color is not everybody. It includes everybody. A white person can be a person of
Yes,
color.
it
People of
does.
color.
But what is indigenous, bro? Where does indigenous
Into,
come in, bro?
I was about to say, yo,
Like
it's
Native
crazy.
Americans?
No, you know what's hilarious? So when you said what is indigenous, I was about to use the very word that they created indigenous to stop people from saying. Like I was about to be like Indians, and I was like, oh shit, wait, no, they
So
don't like
so
that.
Native American, but aren't Native Americans also people of color?
They
Also,
used to.
indigenous don't mean just America, right?
No, they're indigenous peoples across the
So
planet.
like, where we, who who are we talking about here?
I don't know, man. These terms just become weird, fucking self
Nah, wait,
cannibalizing.
who are we talking about? Cause
Nobody that no
now
one
I'm
really
kind of
fucking
tight now
uses
because I
that.
didn't know what this meant. And now that I know what it
So,
means, this is the
there's
most
a
insulting
theory.
shit.
There's a theory that a lot of the social justice stuff is just part of make work campaigns. It's just a lot of these words that you see these lefties come up with, and then they pretend that it's this new inclusive term. It's just some shit that corporate HR people came up with to add new stupid corporate buzzwords into the jargon. The only people that will use this stupid shit are people in corporate environments. No one outside of corporate environments, no one outside of the crazy people running around these college campuses ever use these terms. Sure, you're gonna meet someone like one out of every 1,000, some crazy fucking Twitter weirdo with 3,000 with three different colors in their hair. Heck, 3,000 with the way they act these days. Three different colors in here. Who's gonna look at you and say that goofy shit like, as a BIPOC, and you just know to turn your brain off and stop listening to them. That's the point. But it's like no one uses these words for real, man. No one uses them. Just
Nah, that shit's mad. That shit's mad insulting. What the? I'm still tight, bro.
well, their intention was not to insult you. Their intention was to create goofy terms. They're just gonna keep adding on. This is gonna be
But
something
like,
else in
bro,
2 years.
but now what Abba said is really true. Like they really did just LGBTQ us. Like what the fuck?
Yes, yes. Something that I was saying they were trying to do. Remember, I used to say this shit
I don't remember.
before anyone.
I don't remember
I used to
that.
say this shit before anyone was talking about this shit. I mean, not before anyone probably, but before anyone I saw was actually talking about it. Remember back in like 2012, 2013, I would make these points.
2012.
Yes,
You were like
yes, bro.
16.
Yes. When I was a fucking no, yeah, well, not 2012. Yeah, I think I did say things like this in 2012. Man, it used to get me in trouble. That's why me and that girl used to get in arguments so much in high school. That's why I remember to my mom, I said something about how people will misalign me as a conservative. And she's like, "Oh, you've always been a conservative." This is what my mom said. She's like,
Mom
even when
hit you
you
with
were,
the "you are."
yeah, that's what my mom said. She was like, even when you were a kid, you would say things that sounded conservative. And I thought back to it, and then I would remember that there were moments in which I would say things in which you could, to these days, would be called outright or some bullshit. But what I was gonna say though, it's like as I can remember, basically 2014 up to like 2016. I remember I talk about this kind of shit all the time, and I was pointing these things out that this is what was going to happen. And I remember I would say these things to you guys. And at
Nah, I
first,
definitely need someone to tell me why the fuck that they took the black out of people of color.
it's gonna be some long-winded thing that
I
doesn't
need
make.
them to sit there and explain it to me so I can tell them that they're wrong.
Nah, I mean,
You know how EJ was talking about how you sit there like and you enjoy arguing with people. I need to argue with someone
oh
for
wait,
this, bro.
I found it. I found a why. It says here, why the term BIPOC is more descriptive than people of color, or POC. It acknowledges that people of color face varying types of discrimination and prejudice. Additionally, it emphasizes that systemic racism continues to oppress, invalidate, and deeply affect the lives of Black and Indigenous people in ways other people of color may not necessarily experience. Lastly, significantly, Black and Indigenous individuals and communities still bear the impact of slavery and genocide. What the fuck does this even mean? You see what I told you that it was going to be more stuff that didn't make any sense?
Cause
There's a
like,
lot of double speak. Because
yeah, I
it's
was
like,
like, no.
how does
Like
it mean any of this?
everyone is facing all this shit all the time, bro. I was literally talking to my man's Husto about how this North Korean escapee was just like a sex slave in North Korea, like they are facing oppression out there. There are people of all different shades and shit are facing oppression, brother.
I'm wondering now if it was Black people who wanted to be identified specifically as Black rather than person of color.
I don't. You want to be a person of color? Cause like I don't like that it mixes everyone together. Like I don't like that. Like why do I have to be the other again?
I thought you liked the idea that why does everyone just be a person of color? Maybe we should do that. Everyone's
Everyone's a
appeal.
person of color, but like I didn't like the idea that it's like it's you, and then white people.
I don't even like the word Black in general, to be honest, because in recent years, I just started thinking about how it's like, it's like none of us are the color of fucking pavement or shadows. It's like there are very few Black people actually that dark. Why do we use this term to refer? Why do we just if you live in America, you're a fucking American. That's it. You're an American.
I mean,
You're just an
true. Like,
American. You live
why
in
am I an
France.
African American? I am just American, bro.
You're an American.
Like there's no African in this American, right?
Exactly. If you live in France, you're just a French. You're just a French person. You're French.
True.
You're not.
It is weird because it really is America that has that like, oh, I'm a this American, that American.
Yeah.
Where if you're anyone else, it's like, yeah, I'm French. But
Exactly.
aren't you like Chinese French? I don't. That shit sound goofy as hell to me. Chinese French.
I'll never forget what our boy ref said to me one day. The phrase that was so ridiculous, it still makes me laugh to this day. The Jews were pretending to be Chinese.
This video's we are on like several watch lists now, bro.
I removed all context from that what he was actually talking about. Just because
it's just more funny this way.
It's funny because when he said it, I started screaming. It caught me off guard. The Jews were pretending to be Chinese. And this is gonna really get us in trouble. Because like the imagery that entered my mind is a bunch of Jews just like it's like a bunch of Jews like Jews in fucking disguises. Imagine them with the most racist disguise you could possibly imagine. Like I remember in an episode of Venture Brothers, Jonas Venture infiltrated his nemesis. I forgot what he called himself. Give me a second. Oh, jeez. Oh, Jesus. What was it? Was it this? Oh, give me a second. This shit is one of the funniest scenes in Venture Brothers. When he fucking infiltrated it. Give me a second. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. Okay. So Jonas Venture Jr. He infiltrates this evil organization called the Fraternity of Torment, and he infiltrates them as this villain named Dr. Fang Dragon, who is supposed to be Japanese, and he told him he was from Japanawa.
Japanawa?
Yeah, Japanawa. And then let me show you what Dr. Fang Dragon looked like.
I can assume. what he looks like.
No, I'm telling you,
Nah, you can show me, but I'm saying I already know. Like I already know.
it was a specific thing he was doing that fucking murdered me. Look what this motherfucker was doing in the picture. Okay, let me see. Wish I had a close up of him. Oh my god. Give me a second. Then after this, I'll actually get to the topic because we went off the rails laughing about the BIPOC thing. Because that shit is dumb, man. I don't know what these goofballs are up to. I'm telling you, a lot of this stuff is just it's just corporatism. A lot of this social justice nonsense. Most of it isn't real. Ah, shit.
You're not real.
I'm not. None of us are real. I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know why, but my Discord hasn't been allowing me to send things recently.
What is
Like
it?
pictures.
Dr. Fang Dragon? Let me just look it up.
Just look up Dr. Fang Dragon Jonas Venture, and then see if you can pull up the picture.
Jonas Venture?
Yeah, Jonas Venture. Yeah. Yeah, just go to pictures. It should be there.
I'm not seeing Dr. Fang Dragon.
Dr. Fang Dragon.
Yeah, I'm seeing Venture Junior. I'm seeing the little Venture head guy, but not Dr. Fang Dragon.
Oh man, well it was the dad that did it. Let me see. I'm gonna try and share it and then see what happens. It was the dad, Jonas Venture, that had identity. Let me just try and upload it and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing this two-headed guy. Seeing the shaft rip off. Maybe it's because you've looked it up before. maybe Google's like, yeah, let's erase this off the internet.
Google's like, we know the guy who would find this funny. Okay, I sent it. Right. Pull that up.
Weird that I can't find it. Oh my god. It's a little better than what I thought. But
the part that killed me is that he was literally doing that the whole time. He was only, and the accent he was doing was so ridiculous. And so, like when he said the Jews were pretending to be Chinese, that's the image that entered my mind. Some Jews walking around like this.
Well, I'm not gonna share it with you, but let me share. This is what Dr. Fang Dragon did over here. He's the man in the back wearing green.
Holding his eyes.
Holding his eyes back, yes. This is
Oh man. I mean, for context, this is like
this show does that.
This is a dumb joke. It's meant to be a dumb joke.
It's meant to be offensive.
Yes, right? The character that's doing this is supposed to be a bad person. Jonas Venture,
you're not supposed to like him.
Yeah. He was a terrible individual. Yeah. But anyways, I guess we can move on. So speaking of race and characters pretending to be other races, right? Wait, let me look at the agenda to make sure I'm not talking out of my ass so I don't sound like an idiot.
It's too late for
that. One of these days, Alice. One of these days, straight to the moon.
Oh, so you were subscribing to that sort of media? I see.
Yes, the honeymooners. You learn how to be a real man from the honeymooners and the Flintstones. Anyways,
the Flintstones, bro. That's the worst type of thing you could ever.
Wasn't the crime that Fred was being accused of in Harvey Birdman? I think it was in his mobster identity. Didn't he killed his wife or some shit?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Anyways, what was it? All right, there we go. So the recent thing that's been all the rage and been getting everybody's panties in a bunch, right, is the new Little Mermaid thing. The Little Mermaid is being remade for a new audience, and they decided to do it in live action. And what they've done is they've made Ariel black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this inspired a little bit of backlash, and then backlash against the backlash, and I don't know. What are your opinions on Ariel becoming black?
Well, from what we've just said, if you can play the character, you can play the character, right?
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't give a flying fuck that they made her black. Though it was funny because I remember reading a thing. I don't know if this is true or not, but they were like the production has been facing delays because the actors can't swim, and I thought that shit was hilarious. Um,
I mean, I'm not gonna say that I cared, because I don't give a fuck. These live action remakes are mostly unnecessary, and I don't care about
they're
them.
pretty bad too.
Yes, yes. So these Disney things, I did not give a fuck about. But the only thing that did bother me about is I don't, I don't like this idea of receiving the leftovers of Whitey.
Correct.
I just think yeah.
Like it was like an afterthought. It was like, oh,
Yeah,
we can make this character black, and that'll satisfy everyone's concerns. And I'm just like, nah, bro. Like, no, it doesn't.
yes. It's like, yeah, we just what we need are new original black icons. Because I remember we had this conversation the other day where I was talking about how I remember I brought this up to you, and then you were saying it reminded me of something I said a while ago about how there was a period of diversity where it was honest diversity and like like they were bridging gaps, and then suddenly it ended, right?
Yeah, like you remember Fillmore?
Yes. So you look at a time when
Fillmore
before
was
black
cool
people
as
started
hell.
complaining. Yeah, you look at before black people started complaining about Oscars so white and all that stuff, right? You look back in the day, there was like a real market for black entertainment, and there was a lot of it for a while. Like there were a lot of tons of because like I think about this all the time when people talk about black media and like they always mention the classics. There's never any modern black media that's ever mentioned. There's nothing that I guess that's been so what's the word innovative or touching enough to black people now that they actually think about it. Whenever people talk about black content, I don't know how else to say this without it sounding retarded. BIPOC content. Whenever they talk about BIPOC content, you know, they referring to movies like Juice. They're referring to Belly or New Jack City. These kind of things. There's nothing modern that they're ever talking about. Or they'll talk about like the Eddie Murphy films or some shit like that.
Yeah,
And
it's like Coming to America is like the movie that everyone talks about. And it's like, yo, bro, how we only have these like 3 movies that we can talk about? Isn't that crazy?
exactly. Because even if you look at Eddie Murphy, especially, he's a great example of like that bridging the gap. Like even the character Axel Foley was written for a white guy initially before they casted Eddie Murphy because he was the guy back then, right? Eddie Murphy just seamlessly fits into these roles and interacts with people, and just does what he got to do. He plays the lovable rogue. That was the role he played back then in all those movies. Um, but now it's like this idea of like we said, shoehorning uh, us into these certain categories, right? So now black people aren't receiving original content; they're receiving versions of white content. So it's like, okay, we're gonna give you your own this
Mm-hmm.
or your own that. This is the phrasing they'll literally use. Like they'll create characters, and the character will literally be described as like a black take on this thing. It's like we got Black Superman coming, and that shit just really pisses me off. Like, why can't we just have cool original things that actually like because one if you want to write stuff for black people you don't have to do anything special or stupid, just I don't know, write a
Just write a
movie and send
story
it
and make it
raw.
good.
Yeah.
Just write a
Write a
story,
movie and
make it
send
good,
it
and then the character could
raw.
just be a black guy or a
It
black
should be a
girl
black guy.
or a
It
black
does not
person. It
even
doesn't even
have
matter.
it doesn't even have to be about race. I mean the last movie I can remember that was like kind of got toted as that kind of thing, although no one fucking talks about it anymore. Dope, right? I never saw it in its entirety, but I saw a few parts of it. And Dope has a black lead, lots of black characters, and it's not even about race. It's just this guy and his life. Maybe race is part of it, but I didn't see enough of it to know.
Bro, like On My Block was cool and interesting, right?
Yeah,
Well, season 1. But like it just had it was just colored people in it.
Yeah,
That's
just doing
it.
what they got to do. And everybody hates Chris. Things like this. These things can exist if you just try. Because the common the common retort people will use when you try to point out to them that you can just make content for black audiences and just have it be original and fresh. And one, more people than black people will be into this stuff. That's just what happens, right?
Yeah, people just like interesting stories, right?
Yeah. When when you say this to them, their common retort will be, "Yeah, but people aren't going to support it." And sure, that is sort of true,
I
right? That does
mean,
happen.
China won't
Yeah,
support it, but I'm not making
sure,
movies for China.
exactly. But at the same time, if you try, you're going to keep inspiring more attempts, right? And at least you're rocking the boat a little bit, even if you want to say that it's not going to work. And it's complete bullshit. If you make a good product, it will bring people there because everybody hates Chris. Lots of people like that show. White people love that show, and that show had majority black characters. Most of the characters in that show were black.
Yeah,
Fillmore,
and
like you said,
all of the white people in that show were literally just bad people, except for his
exactly.
friend.
Fillmore was a black lead. The Jamie Foxx show, Martin, all these things. These things can be accepted, right? If you just try. And like even like another great example of this, like yeah, I've talked about Milestone Comics a lot. Milestone Comics was this comic book company that existed in the 90s, written by
You
well,
say it
not
like
just
they
written
don't
by him.
exist anymore.
They exist now. No, they effectively don't exist anymore.
They
I'll get into
don't exist for me.
yeah. So like the original stuff, it dealt with like issues that like the black community faced more often than not. But they just told really good original stories, and they had cool characters with cool power sets, and their fandom was mixed. Black and white people loved this stuff because it was injecting new energy and new blood into the comic book industry. They're like, these are cool new ideas and cool new environments I have not seen before, right? So this proves that there is a market for this kind of stuff if you do it in a way that works. Dwayne McDuffie, though, is just a really good writer. So
Mhm.
he's just the man wrote a character that was literally supposed to be the opposite of him ideologically, right? That was Icon. And then like he even had a crisis of conscience because he was like a a liberal, right?
Yeah,
It turned out this judge, Clarence Thomas, was a big fan of Icon because Icon was like the only Republican representation in superhero comics, really, at that time. So he really dug that. And Dwayne McDuffie did not like Clarence Thomas, so this rubbed him wrong. And he was like, he almost didn't want to write the character anymore because he was like, I'm inspiring my fucking enemies. But then
bro.
he
Imagine
got
writing so good, the people who don't like you like you.
yeah, yeah. So Dwayne McDuffie, he just, he's a good writer. I mean, he's the guy who remade Ben 10 into the fucking masterpiece that it became. It was him, his ideas that helped it shift. But when they tried to bring it back, oh my god, this is why I say it does not exist anymore. Because then you see what happens when you limit the black experience to all these social issues. You have this new milestone universe where it's like it's less about like, sure, the initial issues were present within the original milestone universe, but in the new one, it's so blatant and on the nose, and I mean, you got to be crazy blatant for literally there was an evil organization in original milestone comics called the System. It was called System, right?
Yeah,
So if your shit is so blatant on the nose that you're topping that your stuff is more jarring to accept than that.
that's crazy.
But even then, when you look at System, the way it was designed, it was clear they were trying to be funny. Like the System people look like fucking Looney Tunes characters. Like the way they talked and stuff, like they were clearly meant to be funny. Like it was meant to be a joke, right? But the current one, it's like it's so terribly written and so like poorly plotted, and everything's so on the nose. And it's like the social issues are not presented in a way that actually folds into the story anymore. It's like the character is looking at you and saying the stuff now. You know what I mean? Like that's the worst kind of writing I can imagine. If you have to have characters literally say whatever social issue you're trying to cover, like they have to literally have a fucking word balloon this big, talking about said social issue rather than your story presenting it, you are a fucking bad writer. Like
Yes.
you are a bad writer.
Yes.
And that's why in my mind Milestone does not exist anymore, because that's what the new series is. Like actually I was meaning to tell you about this. Since we're on the topic of Milestone briefly before I move on. There's a new Milestone comic, right? Hardware was one of my favorite Milestone characters. It used to be Static, of course, because Static was written really well and he was a nice Spider-Man type character. But then I read Hardware, and Hardware had this whole thing about like redemption, and that was a huge part of it. And like the angry black man trope seemed to be part of the comic, and it was him having to grow and evolve beyond that mold, right? Um, and you know, it's presented. You understand why he's so angry. It's not like he's just angry for no reason. Like the plot gives more than enough room for his anger to explain why this man is so angry at the world for what happened to him, right? But the new Hardware was, like I said, not as good. Like it was like one, everything happens. The new Milestone universe, everything seems to happen in ×5 speed. So like in the initial comic, when these things happen, they seem to like you watch them unfold over time, right? But in the new one, it's like thing happens, and then like immediately he's like, I was ready for this, and then it's like there's like we're in the plot. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
What is
Right?
going on?
So there's a new Milestone comic called Hardware versus Icon, or Icon versus Hardware, I don't remember. And it's their big thing, I guess. Now it's gonna be the heroes fighting each other, right? And you know, and there's more. There's a precedent for Icon and Hardware not seeing eye to eye. They didn't in the original universe, and it makes sense why they wouldn't here. They're two completely different people, right?
Yeah.
Very a real Batman and Superman kind of situation here, right? Except they're not friends. Like I think they become friends outside of Milestone material, but they were not. I don't think they were ever friends in the original Milestone stuff. Like when the Milestone universe ended and the characters were incorporated into DC, I think they were more friendly. But in the original stuff, I think they did not like each other at all, right? But in the new one, they're gonna fight. And the way the first issue begins, it's like he's trying to find out information about Icon, and he just fucking hates him for no reason now. In the original stuff, they just literally did not agree. Like they had two different ideologies. This is why they didn't like each other. Two complete clashing personalities. They had to meet each other in order to not like each other. In the new one, he literally has not met the man. He just fucking kind of despises him for like no reason.
Just
And
like Batman and Superman.
Yeah, he's trying to find some information on him to find out stuff about him, and he just finds out that he's an alien, even which is weird, right? In order to whatever, I have to get into the stupid Milestone stuff. He finds out he's an
about
alien.
to go off.
Yeah, he finds out he's an alien, and then he goes to this thing to find like his ship, and instead of finding his ship, he finds a fucking time machine. Just in this in this government facility, there's just a time machine invented by this black inventor guy, right? Who's a real person, but I don't know why they had him just invent a time machine. It's really goofy and stupid. So he just finds a time machine, and then he just uses the time machine, and he goes back in time, and then he stops Thing, and then now it's like literally the thing happened over the course of maybe like it seemed like it was like 10 pages long, like of how rushed the story was. It's like you reach the end, and it's like and literally I remember the blurb was so fucking stupid because like um he goes back in time and tries to stop the Big Bang from happening. And then when he does, he tries to expose Edwin Alba as the real mastermind behind this. And then Edwin Alba ends up getting shot in the head for some reason because the guys are shooting at at Hardware, and the bullets bounces off Hardware's armor. And then like the older Curtis, because Curtis is Hardware's name. The older Curtis looks at him and he says, "Is everything changed now?" He's like, "I guess we'll find out." That's what he says. Then he goes to the future, and you see him sitting at this table, and he's like, "I changed the past, and I stopped the Big Bang from happening, and now there's a superhuman war." That's literally what it said. It was just superhumans fighting outside. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, "What is going on right now?" Like this is literally the worst written thing I've ever seen in my life. Like it really looked like some shit I would have written when I was 12 years old. When I used to draw fake comics when I was a kid, That's how they would play out. They'd play out just like that. There'll be some shit over the course of like 2 pages. It happened that fast. I was like, this is the writing that we're forced to accept because we're black. It's like we can't have normal writing anymore. It has to be concerned with racial issues and racial injustices and all this kind of stuff.
That's not to say you can't talk about those things, because like, you know, colored folks gotta deal with some shit sometimes. But it's not like every day I go outside and there's just someone holding a Trump flag being like, I hate you.
Yeah, never forget. Never forget. Well, it's not even just that. It's also just like it just doesn't. There's not enough variety in the
Yeah,
story.
it's just
There's
like,
not enough variety.
because look, man, if certain types of people write the stories for our people, we get what, one or two things. Either you hate everything about your culture and you're trying to assimilate into the other, and then you're like, oh, maybe my culture isn't that bad, but not really, because you don't really adopt your culture. You just kind of find like weird ways to like modernize it, right? Or every day I had to fight, and that's it. That's all you get.
Yeah, that's what Muslim people get a lot. Muslim people get a lot of the whole, oh man, my culture, it holds me back. I hate being Muslim, blah blah blah. Oh, maybe being Muslim isn't that bad. I can put paper clips on my hijab, or not paper clips, hair clips on my hijab, and wear makeup. Ooh, Western world, you know.
This is not a video that should ever get out.
Tell me that's
No, that's literally Mindy Kaling's whole thing. That's her entire thing, bro. That's her whole thing about how much she just hates being an Indian lady.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, I could be American.
No, she doesn't get to that part. She doesn't get to that part.
I mean, that's what they do. Like it'll be like she's rebelling against her father.
Correct.
Her father is an evil, stern Muslim man.
Yes.
He's evil.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, what if she just enjoys being Muslim? Like I mean, okay, yeah. When you look at like in some Muslim countries that
you saw RRR.
Yeah. When you look at some Muslim countries that literally have Sharia law and they're literally dealing with not just oppression, but with niggas pointing guns in their face.
There are things like Breadwinner. Breadwinner was a movie about that. Like they sound like they hated their culture, but they definitely had issues with certain things about it.
Yes. So you got that. But then when I look at the Muslims here in America, they enjoy their religion, they enjoy their lives, they dress however they want.
However they blood clot, please.
Yeah, they still mostly tasteful. Well, no, even if they're trying to be a little fashionable, they're still mostly tasteful. They wear their hijab. You know, they're not like fucking constantly rallying against being Muslim. I gotta fight. It's like, no. They seem to find a nice middle ground. They seem to find a nice middle ground. It's like, I am Muslim, but that's not all there is to me.
Correct.
You know? But anyways.
But that's not what the internet will tell you. Like these like corporate media things, they'll tell you that they're the most oppressed people. Their parents want them to act like it's back in the 1800s in India, and it's like, have you talked to a person from these countries, bro? Like, have you?
Even if you want to say that some of their parents are very traditional, whose fucking parents aren't traditional?
Yeah, but I'm just talking about like, yo, you watch these shows and you would be hard pressed to be like, wait, did that person grow up in 1980 or 1880? Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's so weird. Like,
yeah,
I literally, one of my friends, her parents are very traditional, but you know, they aren't weird about it. They're like, yeah, we want you to get arranged marriage, but you know, you still got a choice. It's your choice. It's like, you get to pick, you get to like choose. You're not gonna be like, all right, wake up, here's your husband. Like, it's not like that.
But yeah, moving on away from the whole racial element of this and the Little Mermaid.
You can't move away from it, bro. It'll follow you for the rest of your life.
So the Little Mermaid thing, I think what's even more disconcerting about the whole, racial element of it, because that shit's gonna happen. One thing is her hair. They really gave her this like really muted hair. I just find this actually touches.
The red, the like weird red. It kind of just doesn't. It doesn't look that good, in my opinion.
Yeah, that actually touches on one of the things I'm about to mention, where it's like these stories already exist, and then trying to make these live action adaptations, I don't feel like you're enhancing them in any way. All you do is take away from the original thing. You've developed a lesser product. You know
So
what I mean?
one of the things I can see about Little Mermaid being changed, because it's like, yo, the original story, right? It's like it's not even something Disney owns. So, like, and the original story, like, Ariel was a little white girl, right? Like, she was a redhead. Like, you could just left that. Like, no one
Bro,
is.
what I'm saying though is changing it to
Yeah, yeah,
live
yeah.
action. I don't
Oh,
think
that part.
I'm
Yeah, no,
saying like
changing it to live action, it definitely is a thing where people are just like, I really enjoyed this story, but now I want to be able to enjoy it as an adult, so it needs to not be animated.
yeah, yeah.
And
Because
you're just like,
really
what are you
think
talking
about it,
about, bro?
and like imagine the bright red hair. That's not something you can get in real life without it looking silly. Like with a bright, really bright, fiery red, like people are gonna think it's silly because people can't like that's too jarring to them, right?
Unless you're Paramore.
But yeah, but then she's a rocker, so that's
Yeah.
part of their whole image. Um,
Shout
so
out to
like that's what I'm
Paramore.
trying to say. It's like I don't think you're adding anything to these stories by turning them into these live action. That's why I've never liked any of them or ever watched any of them. The only one I
They're they're just okay. Like, if you like the originals, you'll probably like it because guess what? It's the same movie.
exactly, but even then, I actually will dislike the new version because, like, I remember one girl was talking about how they removed the what's the dragon's name, Mushu. They removed
Is
Mushu
Mushu
from.
not in the Mulan movie, bro?
Yeah, I don't think he is. I think she
That's
said he's not in there,
crazy.
and I think the little cricket thing is not in there either.
Jiminy Cricket's not in Pinocchio?
Not Pinocchio. I'm talking about. Didn't she have like this
Oh,
little?
oh, the good luck. Man, they made the
Yeah,
movie.
let me see. Mulu, my actually.
Shout out to my boy,
I don't think he's in it.
Mushu.
Yeah, he's not in it. And it's like you just take away from the original movie. It's like I remember like for example something like The Little Mermaid where you're looking at the hair and you're just like this looks so much more vibrant and interesting in the original than it does right now. Like I remember one of the common complaints about The Lion King was that the Lion King remake was the new creatures that looked so dull and
Well, it's
unexpressive.
because to make a realistic animal, you don't give it eyebrows, right?
Yes,
You know what? A lot of our expression is in our eyebrows.
yes.
Like, a lot
And
of
the
our
other
expression
thing
is in
is
our eyebrows.
it's a little jarring to make them have actual facial expressions because they're fucking
Oh,
animals
well,
and
they
you've
don't
never
have facial expressions in that movie because they went
exactly
realistic.
exactly. So I was like, what are we really trying to do here? Like, why do we need these live action renditions of our stories
I
we've already
literally
seen?
just, I swear, it really is just, I cannot enjoy the cartoons anymore. You know, like, cartoons are for kids. Let's make a live action adaptation so we can enjoy these stories as an adult. But it's not like they even change anything to give it a little more adult flavor or anything. It's literally the same thing. Like, it's
They, they
literally the same thing.
they did that at first with Maleficent, which was a decent film.
Well,
They
Maleficent wasn't a live action like, it wasn't like a remake. It was like a different
But
thing.
it was the first time that they really started experimenting with that. They gave you a nice little reinterpretation
Yeah,
of the story,
which was
an
cool
actual
because
reimagining.
they
Yeah.
like they changed the story. Like, some story beats were the same, but overall they changed it, right? Well,
Yes.
but the other, no, like Beauty and Beast, shot for shot, same thing.
Yes.
Aladdin, shot for shot, same thing. Except they add a weird element where Jasmine starts singing a song about how her being a woman makes her really strong, and the reason it's weird is because it doesn't add anything to the story. It's like she's literally being taken away in cuffs. She breaks out of these cuffs, which, bro, because I'm telling you, I'm watching the movie. She breaks out the cuffs. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? What's going on? I thought she was like rebelling right now. No, it's a whole song and dance about how she's not gonna be anyone's puppet. This, that, and the third, and then it like rewinds to her being taken back away in the cuffs, and then I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? Why did she just do all that?
I think I just started laughing. I
Like,
just
why did
started.
she just do all that shit just to be
I,
taken
think
away anyway, bro?
I guess she wasn't powerful after all.
Like, and it was so weird because, like, throughout the movie, if Genie is not around, magic does not happen. So Genie not being there in that moment, so I was like, I was confused because it was like people were turning to sand, bro. I thought she was out here murdering people. She was like, sand, sand. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
If they really wanted to, they could have just had her escape. It could have just been a new plot element they had in there. It
They
could have just
really could
happened.
have just had her escape.
And then
Uh,
Aladdin meets up with her, and then together they go try to fight Jafar. Like it wouldn't have changed the story that much.
yeah, no, they could have done it, but that's no. It was just musical number about this thing.
Nothing.
It was about nothing because all the other musical numbers were like part of the plot and like moved the plot forward, except for that one.
Yeah. And don't even get me started on Aladdin. Aladdin was the perfect example of how these live action renditions take away rather than enhance. Their version of Jafar was so fucking lame. This guy is
Yeah, no,
not.
there's no way you can top animated Jafar, bro. Animated
Exactly.
Jafar is just peak evil. He looks skeevy, like the way
Yeah.
he acts, the way he talks, everything about Jafar in the animated movie is just that's a villain
Yeah,
right
if you
there.
want to talk about facial expressions, Jafar was the peak facial
Yeah,
expression
bro.
for the Disney villain. The way his
And like
face
there were just
moved.
certain elements of the comedy that just like it does not hit the same because it's not animated. Like remember he's
Yeah.
like one of the scenes in the animated when he's trying to hypnotize the Sultan into making Jasmine do something, and the Sultan's like, that doesn't sound like my daughter, and like Jafar's like, what the fuck? Yes, it is. It
Yeah.
was really funny because it was like they broke the fourth wall. It was a weird meta joke.
Yeah. I mean, and speaking of that thing that you can only do in animation that only really works in animation, like voice acting, like they've learned the hard way that you can't take normal actors and make them into voice actors because they just don't have the training and it just doesn't sound right. Right. We're starting to see that more and more when people complain about stop looking over or like reaching over actual voice actors to bring these quote unquote real actors in only for them to give these really piss poor
Bro,
attempts at
voice
voice.
acting is a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Exactly.
You can't just be like, man, I got a mic, I can do this, I got a phone in it. No, you can tell when something's bad. In fact, a
Yes.
lot of people who watch anime can like experience this, which to this day caused dubbed anime to get a bad rap, is because back when anime was not as popular, they really would just phone this shit in. So you'd get like, oh no, Mikasa, I need to save you. Ah, like that's what it sounded like, and you're like, what the fuck
Like
is
speed
going on,
racer.
bro?
What are you
Oh,
talking about? I need to go. I need to go in my car. I need to drive. I'm gonna drive in my car. And like
yeah,
this
yeah,
speed
yeah,
racer.
yeah. So stuff like that. You get stuff like that.
But what I was gonna say is when you look at something like in Aladdin, the voices have this like sort of exaggerated quality to them in the way the characters talk, especially in Jafar. Very exaggerated way,
Yeah,
very
like
way
Jafar, like is the way he speaks is skeevy. Like
exactly.
if you
And
met a
you think
person who talked like Jafar in real life, you would be like, "This is the
you'd be
most
pissed off.
untrustworthy person I've ever met in my life."
Yes. But
Also,
then when
you'd
you
be like, "Yo, why is he talking like the way he drags certain words on, like
yeah,
he just nah."
yeah. But then when you move on to like live action, it's hard to deliver that same performance. Because like or at least I don't think it should be hard, but it is
No, it's
hard.
hard because it's like people don't talk like that, right?
Yes,
So like if
yes.
there really was a Jafar, like IRL, who was just talking like Sultan, like you'd just be like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with that guy?
Yeah.
You'd be
But
like,
I'm
what's going on? It would feel fake, you know?
But I'm a proponent of the fact that movies should not look like real life. Certain movies should, of course. If you're trying to
True,
make a
true.
dramatic film, go for it. But I feel like if you're making a film that's supposed to be like
Hmm.
a little pulpy adventure, it does not have to look like real life. The characters don't have to act like real people. They don't have to look like real people. They should make exaggerated facial expressions and talk in exaggerated
Hmm.
ways because
That's
you're making
like
a
every
fucking
Jim
movie.
Carrey movie ever, right?
Exactly. You're making a fucking movie. This is a piece of imagination being brought to life. So make it like that. Make it like how it looks in your head. That's a good thing. Robert Rodriguez is probably the only guy who I think if you were to take him and if you were to take him and ask him to make one of these Disney movies, he'd do a good job. You know the guy who made Spy Kids because
Oh
that
yeah, Spy
man
Kids is so good, bro.
understands. Yeah, he understands the idea that when he's making a movie, it is not real life. He's just trying to put what he sees in his fucking head on the screen. Even before Spy Kids, when you look at his mariachi series, and those movies are just ridiculous and over the top,
Shout out to
and
Spy Kids, bro.
exactly, but they're meant to be ridiculous and meant to be over the top, like the
Yeah,
things that happen.
Yeah, like
Like I remember,
there's so much goofy things that happen in Spy Kids that it is almost a cartoon, bro. It's almost a
exactly.
cartoon, bro. You remember
So
Spy Kids 3 where the guy shows up and he just insta dies? That shit was hilarious.
I'm the guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like even the way he talked, he was like,
yeah,
"I'm the guy. I'm gonna
yeah.
save your butt." And it was like so weird. And then when
And
he
then
dies, oops.
yeah,
So stupid.
yeah. But
Fucking one shotted, bro. Crazy.
yeah, like I mean, he's the only guy I think who you could find to do this. Or like another one would be Edgar Wright. Not Edgar Wright. Shit, what was the guy that made Scott Pilgrim again? Oh, is it Oliver Wright? I think it's Oliver Wright, the guy who made Scott Pilgrim.
Scott
But
Pilgrim was
anyway,
on crack. But you know what else was good? The Green Hornet.
the Green. Oh yeah, the Green Hornet also realized that it's not supposed to be real life, and they're just having fun, right?
Whoever made the scary movies, wasn't that the Wayans Bros?
The Wayne brothers, yeah, the
Good
Waynes.
fucking shit. That's what that was.
Yeah. But what I was gonna say though is like oh yeah, I already said this. Yeah, the live action adaptations take away. Like
Baby.
when you look at an example, like I have to bring this up. Yeah, I was going to and I almost forgot. Thank God I remembered. When you look at like when you look at the One Piece adaptation that's coming up, how much did that girl say the episodes were gonna cost?
She was like
She said like,
$9 million. Like, oh my god.
and she was when she was
Let me
saying
look
that
it up.
shit,
Let
she
me
was
look.
saying that guarantees the quality of the show.
Doesn't mean
But there's no I said
anything.
that guarantees it's gonna be canceled. They're not gonna be sitting there spending $9 million in an episode. Like if the show that
If
show
it does not do great numbers on day one, rip. I don't care
and
how
then
good it is, it's getting canceled.
but then that's the best case scenario that it gets canceled. The worst case scenario is it does do great numbers. Okay, I guess we got to keep doing this. And the fucking pilot they spend $9 million. Then the next episode they spend 6 million.
Nine
Then
to
after that
10
3 million.
per
Then
episode.
they're like then
It's
they're like
comparable to the Games of Thrones budget, apparently.
then they're like, you know what? We can't keep doing this. We're just gonna spend 1,000 per episode, and then you start getting fucking Spy Kids level CGI, and then everyone starts complaining. Like that show's gonna be canceled in fucking 3 episodes, just like the Cowboy Bebop thing.
Look, man,
Like
unless it's good. Unless it's good.
no, because here's the thing. Well, what can you do in live action that is gonna top One Piece or make it even comparable,
Well,
worth
the
adapting?
original One Piece, like the 1996 version, is very not like that super aura thing and like the screaming and all the animate. One Piece does not do that shit. It didn't do that shit until the Wano arc, and I kind of disliked it. Like the hell, I literally just saw a picture
Yeah,
of
I'm talking about the literal character designs and everything.
no,
How are
just
you
even their
going
powers, bro. Like it's not that like
to
my boy Zoro really does just hit you with two swords, bro. He's just like this is it. I have swords. My boy Sanji, he just kicks you. He's
yeah.
just
Well
kicking you. Luffy
the
is the
character
only one where it's like I don't know how they're gonna do that.
yeah, well the character designs though are what I'm saying. It's like the
Oh yeah,
characters have
the Luffy.
an exagerated look to them, you know?
I think they're gonna tone that way down because I think Arlong is just a black guy. I think he's just a black guy. I don't think he's a fisherman anymore. Or if he is, he is. Let me see,
What the fuck? Okay, whatever.
bro. He's.
Why do
I
you
don't know what he
remember
looks like. He's casted by he's a black actor, but I
what was
don't
that
know.
king? What was that king who could eat people and who could like
Wapo.
yeah. Wait, what was that his name? No, not him.
Wait, he could eat people
Fucking
and then what?
the fortress guy.
Yeah, Wapo. It's
That was his
Wapo.
name,
It's
Robert?
Wapo.
How the fuck are they ever gonna adapt a character like that?
Like I said, I don't know. Like they're definitely like I need to see how they're gonna do Arlong, because I need to see how they're gonna do Arlong Park, because Arlong Park is peak fiction, bro.
I'm telling I don't think they're
I
gonna
don't think it's going to be as bad as you think. I don't think they are going to try, and I think that's what it really is. Like they're not going to try to adapt the characters that
what's the
faithfully.
fucking point?
No. One Piece's point isn't what the characters look like. It's the stories, right?
No, I'm saying, what's the point of adapting those
Oh,
fucking things?
100% because people can't enjoy stories if they're animated. That's it. I will die on that hill, bro. The reason we're getting a live action anything else is because a good story exists and people who are boring want it to be in live action.
Yeah, because
That's it.
I'm of the opinion that there's nothing live action can do that animation or even other artistic forms of expression can't do better.
I
You
agree.
know,
Like like
like
I agree. Like One Piece is peak in its drawn medium because it is drawn. Like that's why we get, like you said, those weird characters, right?
yeah,
But also like
or even like something outside of anime, American comic books. There are just elements of American comic books that cannot be translated to screen. And it's like, and remember, I was trying to explain this to EJ that these, especially when you have these Hollywood idiots who are just arrogant as fuck and complete narcissists who think they're fixing the source material
yeah,
and make all this stupid changes that just ruin completely. They take away actual necessary elements of the story. Like I remember my classic example is the whole Thanos, his whole thing, something he did on a whim in the original Infinity Gauntlet is now turned into the crux
yeah, it
of his
became his
fucking
whole
character.
character, his whole
Yeah,
ideology. It's
I was
like,
like,
nah, bro, he kind of did that for fun.
yeah. I was like, that's kind of stupid, but whatever. Um, it's like there's just a certain magic in 2D animation that you just can't replicate. And I say this even in CGI. I don't think you can replicate a certain magic. There's a certain magic 2D animation has that just cannot be replicated in CG or in live action. Would you
Yes,
agree?
I agree. Like, bro, you know I like animation. Like, bro, I literally watch Puss in Boots and I like notice the like little intricacies that they do in the animation. Like, bro, just the scene when Wolf shows up for the first time and like you can see the difference in style when Puss is like doing his action and then the priority goes over to Wolf. Like when Puss is like in his prime and he's doing his flips and shit, it's very, very cartoony and very colorful, right? But the second it switches over to Wolf, the fucking whole room gets darker, the tone shifts. Bro, like even when he first like slices Puss's like forehead, like Puss himself stops looking like a cartoon character for a second. It looks like they almost animated like a real cat. Like he is afraid. He like the adventure is over, bro. And there's a bunch of stuff like that. Like you might not even have noticed that shit. But like because they did that, you can just feel the emotion in the room. And you can't do that in real life because a human's gonna look like a human.
I mean, so like that was CG, and I get that. But my actual point was I literally think
But
that 2D in itself has a special quality that you can't even replicate. I do believe CG has its place, and there are beautiful things that you can do with CG, like you just mentioned, CG animation. But I think 2D in itself just has this special quality to it that just doesn't
but yeah, you can
translate.
do a lot of the same things in 2D. There are also certain things, like you said, there are like very specific to 2D. What's the last thing, bro? Oh, in One Piece, there's a lot of like hidden frame data in like one of the more recent fights. It's like a bunch of stuff you cannot see, but it does do this. It does the same thing I was talking about, where it adds to like the flavor of what's going on,
Yeah,
right? What was going on is like one of the characters, she's a wolf dog thing, where she like she was doing her like move and like to show that she's like feral right now. One of the hidden frames is like her like completely like feral, like eyes glowing, teeth showing, but like that's not shown to you. It's just like a hidden thing real quick. But like you still felt it was like, oh yeah, she's like serious right now. Like
yeah.
this move right here, this is it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, when I say that, like on a technical aspect, I think CG, there's a lot of technical things you can do. But I feel like in terms of 2D animation, there's a thing our eyes do where it's like 2D has this otherworldly kind of feeling to it. Like this it's real flights of fancy thing. And this is not grounded in any realism or anything. This is like literally like I feel like a spiritual thing that happens when you're watching a piece of 2D. Like tell where you're watching something classically 2D animated,
Like Looney Tunes.
yeah, it just feels like you're in another dimension. Like it feels like
Well, yeah,
something.
because Looney Tunes is like very different. It's very cartoony. It's
Yeah, yeah,
very like people are rubbery, like They
Yeah.
just bend
I
the
mean, no,
ways.
even when you look
Like
at
think about Adventure Time. Like the whole reason Adventure Time worked so well is because it was 2D, right?
yeah,
Like the style of Adventure Time literally lended itself to the story because
yeah,
of the way that Finn would move. Like like a
yeah,
lot of times when Finn would like show extreme emotion on his face, he didn't have a human face, right? Like his mouth would be like this long. His eyes would literally just go they're like black circles most of the time. They would just go and just become actual like sketch marks, right?
yeah,
And like none of that looked weird in that moment because you're
yeah,
like, yeah, that guy's stressed right now. But
yeah.
like if that happened in real life, like say like a 3D person did that shit, you'd be like, nope.
Or even in CG, it just looks a
Yeah,
little
like you
weird.
would turn your TV off. You're like, nope, no, I don't want to see that.
Like even when they do that kind of stuff in CG, they will make it try. They'll try and make it look as 2D as they can. Like
Hmm.
it'll look like things on the character's face rather than part of the character's face. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, like I
And I
think
think
the
it's just
Looney Tunes
really hard
back in
to do.
action, like when his eyes would pop out,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it never looked like his eyes were popping out. It was like flat, like his face, and then like a 2D eye right here, and then like extended.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's like even when you're talking like CG animation to do stuff like that, I think like on the level of like that fin stuff is also very hard to try and like make the face do all that stuff you just
Like
mentioned.
really contorted.
Is difficult. And then when you even look at Ren and Stimpy's a great example of that crazy over the top animation style that can only work in that sort of 2D environment. And like even when you go outside of like those more like cartoony depictions, we look at something like Aladdin or even that Beauty and the Beast kind of. But you look at some not Beauty and the Beast. Or Beauty and the Beast has examples of it too. But like when you look at something like Aladdin, the way the characters' faces move, their movements have this like weird music to them. You know what I mean? Like the characters don't move like normal people. They move in this kind of like musical, bouncy kind of way. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's how all the characters and they all have their distinctive gaits as well. It's like you can kind of replicate this in CG, yeah. But I mean, I feel like
There are a lot of overlapping things you can do in CG and 2D, but yeah, there
yeah,
are certain things like 2D, CG, stop motion. They all have like certain
oh
aspects of
yeah,
them that like
stop
you just
motion,
can't replicate. Like
exactly.
if you did Coraline in CG, it would not hit the same.
Yeah, it would not. It would be too fluid. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a certain like even though like you'd be hard pressed to tell that like someone's like doing this like for a million frames, right?
Yeah,
But
and it's funny you mentioned that because I was watching that recent 2G, not 2G, stop motion venture, Wendell and Vaughn on Netflix, right?
no,
And I was like noticing the sort of juttiness of it, and I was like, wow, it's because I haven't watched something 2D in so long that I'm really noticing it. I was thinking about, I was like, I wonder if other people noticed it the way I'm noticing it. Like it didn't bother me, but it was just something I was noticing. Like it's like I can almost see, like it looked like to me like they were moving them as if they were Lego pieces. You know what I mean? Like it's how it looked to me. I was like, oh wow, it's like people really don't pay attention to these nuances. Um, actually, there's an animation. Let me see if I can find it that I want to show you. Just you know what? Nah, I don't have to.
shout out to yeah.
I mean,
Honestly, I really don't think there's any real reason to have these live actions
no.
other than that someone somewhere was like, I like this story, but only if it was like more adult, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't that fucking M. Night Shyamalan's whole reasoning for making avatars. Like, oh
No,
my
they just wanted someone else wanted a live action Avatar. They just
yeah.
casted. Well, they just chose him to direct.
Okay.
Like it
Yeah.
wasn't his idea.
I guess they had
There
that.
was an idea to have 10 of them bitches, bro. 10 Avatar movies.
Christ. Imagine 10 of those garbage movies.
Well, the idea was that it was supposed to be good, so
Avatar is the perfect example of how shit just don't translate, you know?
yeah, like it just was goofy. It was so weird.
How do you translate the Avatar movements
I
and
mean,
like
they moved like real people, right? Like they had real martial arts behind it.
sure, but there's just a
But
fluidity in the animation that's not going to translate as well unless you find you would have to find like a kung fu director who's well known for their over the top kind of style.
Also, yeah, like there's also certain things like you know how like sound directors they don't just go outside and record the rain because
Yeah,
the rain on a recording doesn't sound like the rain in our minds or like the rain
exactly.
that we actually hear. Same thing with the
Exactly.
things that we see, right? Like I can see a guy on like a cartoon do like a triple somersault backflip kick, but that's just not gonna look the same IRL. So like you
No.
have to like position it in a certain way to make it look good, to make it look like
Yeah,
the way that my mind wants it to look.
you look at Death Note when he's writing and how exaggerated it looked, and it's like no one writes like that. Like, that's not how writing looks, but it looked cool. You know what I mean? And that's why he's like, as I take a potato chip and eat it, you know. And he's like writing in the book. Like,
The fucking other guy running back and forth to the book. Remember that scene? That shit was weird.
wait,
And I was like, you couldn't even possibly get one stroke correctly. Like you couldn't write a whole name like that.
yeah, he's just like, yeah, he was like this, right?
Bro, he was like attacking that like it was like a
Yeah, he was like,
sword, bro. I was like, there's but in the moment, it looked great.
it looked cool.
It
Yeah,
looked great. It did not even cross your mind how is he writing like this? Because the scene it like brought you into that, right?
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like with the Avatar thing, their movements are going to look cooler and more fluid in the anime than it would look if you were at some dojo and they're doing it there. Like you're gonna recognize the movements, but you compare it to Avatar, it's gonna
Yo,
look more fluid and
imagine some
cool.
kid is like, oh, they really took the thing from Avatar and made it real.
They stole that from Avatar. But
Yo,
unless you
that's
find, like I
tough.
said,
Tough invented that.
you have to find a kung fu director, but they never think of these this far ahead. So
They don't
instead,
think those things through. Like
yeah,
M
instead
Night
they
Shyamalan was not the person to direct that movie. I don't even know why they would have selected him. Because wasn't he doing like horror-ish movies at the time? Like
yeah,
he
sort of.
did not seem like he would be like the right choice for this.
Yeah, his movies were not very. They
They
they would
didn't
be
seem
silly.
Avatar friendly.
Nah, they were not like the kind of explosive kind of action you would expect. He does not make movies like that. So like it was weird. Like having him direct that it'd be like if I was gonna make a fucking Dragon Ball Z movie and I went and got like a director of a biopic to do it. It'd be weird, you know? And Dragon Ball Z, another thing, another attempt that just didn't work. Like translating things just didn't translate. But they did what you said you think One Piece is gonna do. They tried to just mute it and it didn't work. People were like that's goofy. I don't want to watch that. Wait, am I freezing?
Nah, you think you froze for that? Oh no, there you are. You are freezing now.
Wait, I can't.
Oh, now he's gone. Rest in peace. Um,
That was weird. Something weird happened. I think my thing is being odd. Anyways, what the fuck? It's showing here that it's connected to two things. Okay. Anyways,
your
uh,
camera's not on for me.
oh shit! No, I forgot to turn it on. So yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts about? Because I've noticed a trend that 2D is seemingly being replaced by CG, and there's the common refrain that 2D animation. If you either say 2D animation is dead or 2D animation isn't dead. What do you think about
I
that?
personally like both, right? Like there are many people who hate 3D things in general, and I'm not one of them, right?
Yeah,
Like there's a bunch of like 3D animes that drop, and they're like people just hate it for some
yeah,
reason. And I'm like, I feel like if the medium works well with the story, it's fine. Like there's an anime called High Score Girl. I loved the way that it was animated. Like the selection for it made sense because I even looked at the manga and I was like, this is pretty close, right? And like it lent like the choices they made in the anime lent itself, in my opinion, toward the story. Like because there was a lot of video game references and a lot of video game stuff going on.
yeah,
So it just made a lot of sense that they would have like that kind of video game style. And
yeah,
then there's a lot of regular 2D anime. Like, it just looks good in 2D. Like, leave it alone. So, I can't tell you if it's dead or not. I feel like that might be an American thing. Like, I don't think in other countries or at least not in Japan. Like it's not dead in Japan, bro. They're drawing till their hands bleed over there. Like that's just live and well.
I mean, Kengan Ashura did the combination thing where it's like kind of 2D, like 2D etching, but then
Mm-hmm.
at the same time it's 3D. And I'm looking at some of the actual Kengan Ashura artwork, and it actually does seem like it lends to the style. Like it seems to be a similar thing to what you just described. Like the Kengan artwork looks very shaded and three-dimensional ish. Like the
Mm-hmm.
characters look very, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think it does. I think they did do a good
Like they
job.
did the same thing in Baki, Kengan Ashura, Record of Ragnarok. It's just like weirdly like kind of 3D, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So how did you like the 3D, the use of 3D in King and Ashura? Did they do a good job with that one?
I thought it
I
was
don't know
fine. Like I said, like I didn't hate it. There are some things where I'm like, yo, that wasn't it. Like I didn't like Ajin. Like there's an anime. Ajin, I looked at it and I was like, yo, this feels wrong. Like it just did not feel right.
I remember I saw
Um
those Berserk scenes.
oh yeah, Berserk. Oh my god, it looked I don't know what they were doing.
Jesus Christ!
I don't know what they were doing. But
Like I remember the shit they were there. I was like, that's how they looked when they were moving, and I was like, what the fuck? Yo, oh my god. That factors into what I remember we had this conversation where I was saying people look at these writers and stuff as if they're these god kings when they're
Oda
really
is
just
God, bro.
fallible. Yeah, they're really fallible mortal people. And that's why when they make these goofy mistakes, people are usually like, how could they make such a mistake? Because they're people and they're dumb. And they're dumb just like you. They're just a guy like you that just likes writing. And that's it. There's nothing more special about them. And then it becomes even
Nah,
more worse.
Oda's something special. I don't know. You need to put some
It's
respect on that
different.
boy's
It's
name, bro.
Look, Japanese people are in a class of their own. Okay,
I'm just saying Oda, bro. My nigga Oda,
no. I'm just gonna
he
look.
invited to the
I'm gonna
cookout.
turn into a weeb right now. I don't give a fuck. The Japanese people are in a class of their own. Their work has a quality to it that is just not seen in a lot of Western material. And it's and part of it, and the crazy part of it is that a lot of it is them doing that shit by themselves, right? Like as we were talking about, which is them not by themselves, but
No,
by
like
themselves. You know
the story usually is like mostly them, and
exactly.
like if they're getting feedback, it's like this is just hard to understand. Fix it.
Exactly. And then it becomes crazier when some of them are literally plotting out the story by themselves mostly and then drawing that shit too. And you're
Shout
just
out
like,
to my
God
boy
damn.
Oda. Doesn't
Yeah,
want to switch to 3D. He draws that shit by hand, bro.
exactly.
He doesn't.
So,
I mean,
anyways,
digital. He doesn't want to switch to digital, not
yeah, the
3D.
only equivalent we have in Western media is you have like Belgian and French comics, which they're not like these guys do have a lot of control over their work, not as much as the Japanese do, and they do produce a lot of quality work and content and beautiful artwork. Like if you look at some of those French comics, they're an example of something that if you tried to do it in like a 3D way, it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't equate. Like that, something like that has to be 2D. You know what I mean? Like
Bro,
the way they
you know what
draw
I
a limb.
just started thinking about?
What?
Remember that movie Robots?
Yes.
That shit was weird, but I
Yeah, that was
liked it.
good. Yeah.
You don't
But
get we don't get shit like that no more.
no, we never will.
That shit was
All
cool, bro.
all kids movies are actually for kids now. They're not made with adults in mind anymore.
Bro, that
Uh,
movie had some of the wildest adult jokes.
yes.
I remember the lady with the big buck. Remember her? She just
Yeah.
the big caboose. They were constantly making jokes about her fat ass, bro.
Yeah. But
They
what I was gonna
actually
say
got
was,
inside of it. Like that's how they snuck into someplace. They
yeah,
literally
yeah.
just got inside.
But what was I saying? What was I talking about again?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, so yeah, the Japanese are in a special class of their own. But here in the Western world, like praising these writers and animators and that kind of these guys are one of a team of like 100 people. So like there's this guaranteed to be mistakes, and these people are not special. When you see their fucking name slapped on something, a lot of the time, they are just the 10th fucking person who worked on that thing, and they're just the name that's gonna get the publicity for it a lot of the time. Like a lot of the time, this thing was created by 300 different people, and it went through all these different iterations and hands before you got what's in front of you. So it's always funny to me when they praise these creators like they're gods. And this is coming from a guy who is a creator, who likes creating stuff. And I do. There are some creators that I enjoy very much, but I also understand the industry enough to know that like it's not like some guy just writes some shit and that's it. It's like I know he wrote something, someone else wrote on it, someone else edited it, someone else did this, someone else did that, and none of those guys get any credit or appreciation. It's like they don't exist. But yeah. Much like you though, I wish that both will stay. Like I want 3D because I think there are a lot of good things in 3D that you can do. Like there are a lot of beautiful, like you mentioned with the Puss in Boots thing, a lot of beautiful techniques you can do in 3D that just work really well, and it just looks nice sometimes. And there are certain stories that just fit the 3D, like they fit for that 3D style, that CG animation style. But at the same time, there's just a quality in 2D animation that I love a lot that I don't want them to do away with completely. So I feel like I'm a little worried by what I see as like the coming wave of mostly 3D animated films.
Like I said, I feel like it's a really American thing, because the amount of films that I need to watch that are Japanese and they're all drawn, the list is long. The list is long.
Yeah,
But then, like,
yeah,
everything in America, like you said, everything in America is like 3D.
yeah. And what I'm talking about, I'm talking from a Western
Yeah.
perspective. Just yeah,
And I don't even like the fact that everything that is drawn is Japanese. Like, I want to see things from other places that are like
yeah,
drawn. It's just the only place that it seems to be doing this shit is Japan, right?
yeah, yeah.
And if anyone else decides to do it, they just kind of copy Japan.
Exactly. Oh yes. Oh my God, you're touching on the thing.
Like, bro, like even the Chinese anime is just copying Japan. Even though they fucking hate that nigga.
American
They hate
animation.
that nigga Japan, bro.
American American animation is literally designed by mostly Korean studios, which
Correct.
are copying anime,
Correct.
and they've been doing that since like the 1980s.
And it's just
You
like,
know,
yo, bro, like we can get other things, bro. It's okay. Just like it's
it's like let
okay.
some other. Because there are plenty of talented American animators. Hire some American animators to do
Why
their
would I do
work.
that? Because then I have to pay them a real wage.
Exactly. You have to pay
I
them
was literally
real.
thinking about this today. Where it's like, I really don't like Amazon. I don't like it. And there's a plenty of other people who don't
You
like
don't like
Amazon. Amazon, the company, like they don't
yeah.
like Amazon because of the practices that they have at the company. But they will also be the first person to be like, "Damn, I'm out of toilet paper. Go to Amazon.com." I'm like, Target, Target's down the block. That local mom and pop shop's right there. Like, why are you going to Amazon? It's like, well, I need it now. It's like, the store's still open. Just go get it. It's like, but then I gotta leave my house. It's like, but don't you hate Amazon? Yeah, but you can't be 2 day shipping. It's like, brother, you are the problem. You are the problem.
Can't be 2 day shipping.
It's like, you're the problem. Like, I try my best not to buy anything off Amazon. Like, I really do. Like, I don't. Like, I remember, I literally I wanted to buy these things. I literally went to like 2 different hobby shops before I had to go to Amazon to buy them, because they just didn't have these things. Which I was like, how do you not have these? You're a hobby shop, like
Yeah.
crazy. Like I like
Yeah.
searched for them before I went there. If I need something, I like try to go to any other store, and like I know all the other stores like Target, they're like also bad, but like if you're gonna sit here and let this man have his workers pissing in bottles because they gotta keep moving their hands, that's crazy to me. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, so what? You can get your toilet paper in 2 days? Come on, man.
And on one level, it's like, I was just talking to someone about this too. In order for a boycott to be effective, there must first be reasonable alternatives. So it's like you can't expect a boycott to be effective
See,
without some
for
kind of
something like
alternative.
Amazon though, like, do we really need 2 day shipping though?
Well, I mean, sometimes it depends. Like,
Like, it depends. Like, if you're 2 day shipping my meds, sure, but it's like,
yeah,
man, my Halloween costume. Let me get this 2 days before Halloween because Amazon got it. Like, it's like
yeah,
you're like, what? We just can't think ahead anymore. Like, we can't. Like,
yeah. When you stop offloading all these responsibilities onto this company, this evil,
It's like,
this
do I
evil
really
corporation.
have to wait until I'm at my last roll before I go get more toilet paper?
And you see all these productivity videos and productivity hacks. And wouldn't the one of the best ways to reclaim control over your mind? Maybe instead of jumping straight to a fucking dopamine detox. And I'm not even saying there's anything wrong with dopamine detox. If you take like a day where you stop consuming content and stuff like that, and I don't know, sit down and read a book or something. There are some people who don't do anything. That's what I do. I'll sit down and just read a book. I read a book, enjoy my meals, have a nice day, right? Don't even listen to any music, just chill, right? It's very chilling. But when you have some of these people who are doing these extra things, where be like, for a month, I didn't look anybody in the eyes. I didn't talk to people. I didn't read. I didn't. Yeah, I'm dead ass. This is what me. I
How
didn't
do you not
read.
look a person in the eye for a whole month?
Because you're fucking retarded. And then when your social skills are fucked now, you're gonna wonder why. Uh, if maybe instead of jumping straight to that, how about you start at the first step? Stop ordering everything off fucking Amazon and start going to the store like an actual person and thinking ahead and planning things. And that maybe that's the first step to reclaiming your brain, rather than fucking doing damn near irreparable brain damage to yourself by depriving yourself of basic human needs.
I mean, you were kind of touching on it before, where you were talking about like how like to be clean, you have to like do these like you have to pick stuff up then and there, not like just wait until like one day to do a one giant clean thing. It's like same
Yeah.
thing. It's like if you're gonna go do your groceries, like you can plan that out and be like, oh, like write it on like a notepad. Cause get bread, get this, get this. So the day that you're gonna go do your groceries, you take that list, you go to the grocery store, you know, and then you're done. Like nowadays, it's like, oh man, Alexa, can you put this on my list? Like this.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh, you want me to order right now? Right now?" I was like, sure." It's like they're the price of convenience should not come at the cost of other people's like human rights. Like that's just crazy.
Or even
That's dystopian, bro. That's
or even
actual
the cost of,
dystopia.
yeah, the cost of your autonomy should not come at the cost of your autonomy. Because it's funny because like I remember seeing a funny ass meme. I think I shared it with you guys that I always found so hilarious. It's like it was let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Um, Let me see if I can find this meme because I think I'm about to do a disservice by trying to adapt it instead of just showing it to you.
Also, that nigga Death just kind of exists in the Puss in Boots universe, huh? Like in the Shrek universe, Death is just a guy. Like he's
Oh
just
man,
there, bro. Isn't that kind of
the original,
crazy?
yeah, the original I found was so much better, but
I
damn,
wonder if he'll ever come back. I
I
guess he
can't find
can't.
it.
He can't come back. He's too OP. He is too strong. Man can teleport. He is strong as shit. He's on. He You can't kill him.
Can't find it. Anyways, basically the point of the meme was it was pretty much it was like dystopias dystopias in movies, and like everyone's like, oh my god, that's so terrible, and it's like dystopias in real life, and then everyone's like, and they have like their McDonald's and shit and their Netflix and their Marvel. And it's like they're excited to live into this dystopia. And then I remember commenting on that post when I saw it. I was like, at least the dystopias in the movies have the benefit of looking really fucking cool. The dystopias in real life are boring.
I don't
Like,
lie, bro. Like you think of District 1 in Hunger Games, that place looked great.
yeah,
Like shit.
like at least they look. At least I get to suffer in style.
You get to look. You get to look. As you're plowing the field, you get to look over there. It's like, oh, that should look pretty cool over there. Is that a flying bus, bro?
Yeah, because imagine you could be in like some Tron Legacy shit. Where you're like you glowing and shit. Like, yeah, you're suffering and there's a guy oppressing you, but you glowing. You glowing though.
He's like, I look Fleeto, right?
Yeah.
Get back to work.
But I remember there was
Oh,
another one.
this is stupid.
There's another one talking about this idea where people are like allowing these corporations to not just control them and take away their autonomy, but take away the autonomy of other people and take away their basic human rights, right? Um, it was like someone saying religion that's just a tool created to control people. And then you see like it's like this fat guy. He's got like his phone is on Pornhub. He's got some McDonald's in his hand. He has Netflix open on his computer. He has
I
some
think I
shirt.
saw that one. I think I
Yeah, I
saw that
posted that
one.
in the chat. I posted that in the chat because that one was hilarious. I was like, it's like, yo, it's crazy, man. You're really right about the Amazon thing. People never want to put in the work. But
Bro, you
on
know
one
what
hand,
they're talking about now? They're talking about Amazon cities, where like the
oh,
people who work for Amazon will live and work in these cities. And I was like, we tried that before and it didn't work. Two,
what did we try that with?
don't you remember the fucking mining cities?
Oh yeah, I thought you were gonna say we tried that recently.
Nah,
Yeah,
look, mining cities,
and
factory
cities built around.
towns.
Yeah,
Like this is we are just repeating shit over and over again.
it's funny because I remember when I first wanted to do stories surrounding these milestone characters. I remember the Edwin Alva in my universe, and I remember I still wanted to read. When I started changing the idea into my own thing, and the character became Alvaro, right? He had the same thing. He was supposed to have this corporation that pretty much employed the vast majority of the city, and the whole city kind of was built around this corporation. So he was effectively its god. Like he ran the city. He was its god. And like, there was all the newspapers pretty much answered to him, and it was all propaganda covering up what was really going on. And now you're here describing what I was thinking about in my fucking head as the worst case fucking scenario and something that would be so fucking terrible. And then you're sitting here describing what I saw in my head for real. These niggas are crazy, bro. These niggas are crazy. What? Like, how could you say something like that and think it's cool? Like, how could you say something like that and be like, wow, it would be so cool to live in a
I don't think
city-sized corporation.
I don't think anyone is saying it's cool, but like the mere fact that these people in charge are trying to do this shit again is crazy to me.
And the mere fact that people aren't losing their shit and going, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Maybe, just maybe, we're going in the wrong direction.
Oh, and it's not just Amazon. Google wanted to do it too.
Yeah.
Google, I think Apple wanted to do it.
See,
Oh my God. If you want to talk about real dystopia, let Apple make a city. Let Apple make a city, my nigga. Let Apple make a city, bro. The second you can't afford your
Apple,
fucking $99.99 Apple home subscription, your ass is grass, bro.
your Apple City in your Apple City, yo, my oven is broken and it's leaking gas. They're like, are you sure? Maybe you just don't know how to use it.
Maybe you just need a whole new oven. It's like, no. Like, I really do think it's just this one gasket, bro. Like, if you could just
Yeah, it's
like
leaking gas.
sell me this one gasket so I could. Nah, bro, you're not a trained oven engineer. It's like, it's on the top, bro. Like, it's just a rubber gasket. Nah, bro,
I just want to be able to
doing
sleep
that.
without my kids dying. Like I just like,
Bro, oh
can
my
you just,
God, let Apple make a city. Swear to God, bro, you're
like,
gonna
they're
you're
like,
gonna
nah,
buy
don't
Beats
worry.
by Dre. Oh no, are they partnered with
It's like
Apple?
you're like, yo, you're like, oh, I mean, I looked it up. You guys have the piece in stock. Like it'll be here tomorrow. If you could just, nah, you know what? Just wait 2 weeks. We'll send you a brand new oven. My kids will be dead before then.
Oh my God, bro! Like you're gonna buy something wrong and you're gonna get blacklisted, bro. You're gonna be like, oh, are those Adidas? We don't wear Adidas here, and
Social credit score.
we only buy the Apple shoes. It's like, when did Apple get shoes? You don't know about the Apple shoes, nigga?
No, they'll keep it secret. So it'll be like the social credit score system, where it's like, oh, you're not
Oh
wearing enough Apple
no,
products.
bro. Apple is not keeping nothing secret, bro. Don't you remember the green text bubble thing? That shit's not secret, bro.
Yeah, but
That's
they
not.
didn't say it. They didn't say it. They
Apple
just
didn't
did
need
it.
to say it. They will make you say it for them.
That's what I'm saying. So they're not gonna
That's
say
what I'm saying. Like
anything.
your neighbors are gonna be like, "Yo, that nigga's wearing Adidas. That guy's broke. He's not wearing the Apple slides that came out 5 minutes ago, bro. They're only $10,000. He's not wearing them. That nigga's broke, bro.
$1,000. My kids will be dead before then.
Bro, bro, it was so wild to me. It's so
I mean,
wild to me.
speaking of corporate
Let Apple
dystopias,
make a city, bro. That's just crazy.
maybe that's something we should be talking about in regards to animation. These companies that take over and become the only things that produce anything, and it's just impossible as a smaller creator or a smaller
Oh,
company.
that people have been talking about it. Like I was literally watching a video about it on the other day, where it's like one of the worst things to ever happen was like all of these streaming services consolidating. Like, bro, like that's literally horrible. They're just gonna become one. It's just gonna become cable again. It's just
Yes.
cable again.
And it's what people were saying when it first happened, and people were calling them stupid for saying it.
Like it's just cable again. Back when
Yeah,
Netflix was the only one, it made a lot of sense because it was it was someone to compete with cable. But now that everyone and their mom has their own streaming service,
now you got to buy packages.
streaming is not profitable. So now they're consolidating, and when they consolidate, they will get all together, right? And then they'll be like, "Shit, that cost a lot of money. We need to find a place to save money." The reason HBO Max got rid of a bunch of animated media is that like they fused with someone else. I forgot who they fused with. They fused.
Not DreamWorks, Discovery.
They fused together, and then the person in charge was like, "Cut all of those animated
Yeah.
shows and use it as
He
a
started
tax write off."
axing. Yeah, he started
It's a
axing.
tax write off. It made it so that they didn't lose as much money, and now they increased the price. There are less shows on the service, but they're making it seem like, oh, now that we're with Discovery, you have more things to watch. Yay, nigga! I didn't subscribe to Discovery. I don't give a fuck that you mused, bro. Mused,
Yeah, I don't think they
merged.
have any Discovery content. I don't remember. I haven't used HBO Max in years, so I don't. I don't remember.
It's
I
like,
mean,
why
I
the fuck
remember.
is Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN
Yep,
bundled
yep.
together?
That's what I was just about to talk about. So now you're gonna sit there spending $30 a month for, and when they all start consolidating, they're gonna be the only way you can get content. So it's like, okay, now you have to spend $150 in order to watch the show.
Bro,
The show.
I don't even be watching my Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu. I don't be watching that shit. Because every time I look up something I want to watch, that shit's gone.
Yes.
It's
So
gone,
it's like,
bro.
and then if you start trying to, and if you're like, okay, I don't want to spend $150 to watch one show that I like and ignore all the rest. Let me just pirate something. Oh, you're an evil person.
You're an
You
evil
pirated.
scumbag, bro.
You're
I
an
can't
evil
believe you
person.
ever thought about piracy. How dare you even bring that up on my good Christian channel? I should kick
Yeah.
you out, bro. I should ban you for even thinking about. Oh my god, have you been muted this whole time? Nah, fuck
No.
with you. Nah, fuck with you. Nah, that'd been crazy. Dude,
I don't know.
2 hours just deleted.
I'm like, you know what? It's been a good run. I think this YouTube thing is it for us.
I think I was muted the whole time, but nah, imagine. Nah, I'm joking.
No, if you're serious,
No, I'm not serious. No. I'm just fucking with you.
but if it was like we were muted the whole time, it's like, you know what? Maybe this is God trying to give us a sign.
God, that reminds me of a meme where it's like, God, why didn't you send me a sign? It's like, I sent you mad signs and you thought they were motivation. I don't know what else to do.
Oh yeah, I've seen that meme.
What were we talking about before I made that joke? It really just came to me. I was like, I gotta say this right now.
We're talking about how all these companies
Oh
consolidating
yeah.
limited
So
medium.
yeah, no, like literally, it's getting to the point where like if you want to watch anything on any of these things, you're fucking on a time limit, bro. It's like, oh, Netflix has it. You have to fucking go to Netflix, watch that whole thing right now, because in a month it might not be there anymore.
It's gonna be gone. Yeah,
It's getting to the point where there are websites to tell you which service has what show.
yeah. And sometimes they're not even right.
Sometimes they're not right because these services just be deleting shit, bro.
Yeah. Well, then the thing is, but in regards to the animation thing, when you have all these companies that are consolidating and they
Animation's
own
the
everything,
first thing to go.
yeah, they're all merging together. Yeah, one animation's first thing to go. But I'm even talking in terms of animation companies merging more often than not, and then becoming these giant conglomerates. And then when you complain about not enough variety in animation, that's part of it because it's one studio doing everything. So all the animation is going to look exactly the fucking same because it's one studio doing everything.
Yeah, everyone right now everyone is being animated by fucking, what is it? I think it's Mads. And it's not even like they're like a bad studio or whatever. It's just like there's a clear signature of it, and I'm just like, stop. But when you're the only one who's good, it's Mads, Bones, that's it.
And I don't know, man. That's why I'm really
Mappa. It's not
looking.
Matt. It's Mappa. Mappa, Bones, fucking Toei, A1. Those are like the ones that's like, if it's any of those, heat. Anything else, questionable.
You're talking about
Questionable.
anime?
Yeah, questionable.
Yeah.
Like
I
Mappa
mean,
right now, they have like, I think they're doing Chainsaw Man. I think they're doing Chainsaw Man. I think they're doing Jujutsu Kaisen. I think they picked up fucking Vinland Saga season 2. Like, I think they have like six of the current anime.
but what I was gonna say, it's like, yeah, all these things are exactly all the animation styles look exactly the same, and like that's why I'm looking forward to the sort of creator revolution that's been happening,
Oh, they have
where
Attack
like
on Titan.
you have these guys like when you have guys like Charlie, like Penguin Zero, who produces his own stuff, owns his own stuff, and like you have a straight like a direct to consumer kind of model going on. I'm hoping because like one of the reasons why these things are going to keep happening, the reason why all this consolidation has to happen, is because these streaming services and cable services are now competing with
With
streamers
YouTube. But
and
honestly,
YouTube. Yeah, they're competing with them and they're losing. Yeah, they're not winning.
you
And
need
that's
to
what
you need to have a not a YouTube, right? Like you need to get rid of the middleman somehow, but you can't because you need to go somewhere, right?
exactly. So they're
YouTube don't
losing.
demonetize me for saying what I just said.
So I'm really hoping to God that
You're gonna
eventually
though.
all those studios and big corporations go the way of the dinosaurs, and we get actual like non-gate kept
See, no, no,
material.
no, no, no. What's gonna
But it's not
happen is they're going
as
to get
much.
rid of them, right? Then there's
Yes.
gonna be those direct to consumer media, right? Right.
Yeah.
Then your favorite YouTubers are gonna band together and be like, yo, we like collabing, but like permanently, and next thing you know, you have big studios all over again.
Or this is what's gonna happen. The big studios starts building um all these like streamer icons, and then
That's
they
what China
now they
does.
yeah
That's what China
yeah
does.
yeah.
All your favorite TikTokers, YouTubers, or whatever in China, somebody owns them.
I'm sure they're doing that here in America too. I'm sure Jake Paul. Yeah, I'm sure Jake Paul is just.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's pretty much almost been candid about it. Sort of. He has sponsors. I'm pretty sure those sponsors build who he is. I'm sure he does what they tell him to do, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it seems there's really no way to win, is there?
the only way you win is not to play, right?
Yeah, but even that, man, it's like if you stop playing the game and you're doing too well by not playing the game, then you become an example they must crush, so that other people continue playing the game.
Or you just never play the game, bro. Just never play it. But
Now I'm telling you, if you stop playing, if you go move off the grid and you're doing well, they're like, damn, that nigga can make other people live off the grid. Let's go say he's cooking up cocaine in his basement and murder him. Yeah, they
speaking
send
of
the
illegal things that a cop should no
yeah,
stop.
they send they'll send the ATF to your house and claim you were selling weapons to like the black militia or something, and then blow you and your children up. That's the kind of stuff they do. So like it's like it's almost no way to win. Like yeah, the ultimate way is to not play the game, but to also not be noticed not playing the game.
Yeah, bro. I don't even know. But we've been here for too long, bro. The cows are calling home.
Nah, bro, there's one more thing I gotta talk about.
Is it?
Yo,
Is it?
him.
Yeah, yeah. I knew it. I knew it. I was like, he's gonna say it.
Yeah. So thoughts on your headline?
Final thoughts is read One Piece.
No, for a second, I thought you were going to say, what thoughts on your hairline? Final
Yo,
thoughts on my hairline. I've been trying to save it, but I think I'm just going to let it go. Final thoughts? Yeah, I'm gonna. I still have One Piece on my. I think I might try to get the color version. See if I can get that. Just at least have one color volume, at least one.
I don't think
'Cause
they sell them.
they don't sell them anymore.
Well, they're all digitally colored. All of
Ah,
they're
well,
digitally
they
colored. I
must
don't know if
have.
they sell a colored
They
version.
must have the ones where like the first few pages are colored at least, right?
Well, those are just special editions. Like when there's a
Yeah.
special chapter, it's like I don't even think One Piece does that. Really, now that I think about it, I can't think of the last
Because the
time.
Death Note Black volumes have that. I think in the first one, the first volume of it, the first few parts are in color, and then it stops being in color after that. And I think there was a Uzumaki book I had that did that too. Did
Yeah,
the same thing.
usually manga like the first few pages will be colored if it's like something little special or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't think that. Yeah, like everyone's like, yeah, you can. There's only digitally colored. There's no like colored volumes of them.
Yeah. Well, maybe are there any? Oh no, they probably get in trouble. I was gonna say, is there anyone selling their digitally colored versions?
I mean, probably somewhere on the internet, someone is
You probably find it.
maybe selling the things binded together. But
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna read One Piece and final thoughts.
I don't even think you
Um,
need to read One Piece in color. Like One Piece is very
yeah,
clear.
I'm fine. I don't need to read
No,
this
no,
thing.
no, no, because I just know a lot of manga is like kind of like hard to read in black and white. Now this is not even saying like it has anything to do. Some manga is just hard to read in black and white. Even me, seasoned vet, I just be like, I don't know what's going on. But I don't feel that with One Piece because I feel like the simplicity of the Oda style, especially in the beginning, is very easy to tell what's going on. You know, and like, bro, you just
I mean,
got go read volume one and like you'd understand what I'm talking about.
part of the creator boom here in America that happened in like the 80s and 90s when a lot of comics were out and the comic industry was doing better and better, they stopped coloring a lot of their books. Like the mainstream big companies kept doing it, but the smaller creators would just release black and white books.
They couldn't
And
afford it.
that was part of how they could produce so often and so much. But anyways, one thing I was gonna say is final thoughts. Stop. We need to be like Japan. And when you would when they take an anime or a comic, or in their world a manga, right? And they adapt it. There are some live action adaptations in the thing, but they're in their world.
I feel like
It's the
the ones
exception.
that are done by Japan are like really good because they're like they put some real
Not
respect on it, bro.
not all of them. Not all of them.
I don't
But
know about all of them, but like I feel like most of the ones like
yeah. And
real
also they're an
respect on
exception.
their names, bro.
They're an
Let me
exception,
see.
not the rule. Like they don't do that. They don't make a habit of doing that.
Yeah, they
If they're
don't.
going to make a movie about an anime or a manga, it's going to be animated, right? And
I
I feel
mean, like
like
there's a fucking live action version of Erased. There's a live action version of Full Metal, I think.
yeah, but they're when they make the movies that are going to blow up and they're going to keep making, like like you got your Demon Slayers, didn't Fire Force have a movie too? Um,
Live action, I don't think so.
no, not live action. I'm saying animated.
Oh yeah, well yeah. If they make a movie, it's gonna usually be animated because it's an anime.
Yeah, like leave it. Like they're like, well, it ain't broke. So like here in America, we need to move towards that direction, where it's like we need to start having animation and animated adaptations come back and stop trying to find fucking Chad Chaddington to play this character and he looks nothing like the character, but you just want his face because he's famous. And it's like, no, let's get back and stop casting people who aren't fucking voice. What is Chris Pratt doing voicing Mario? What the fuck is going on? Like, why is
Because
he
they
voicing
needed
Mario?
Chris Pratt, bro.
Yeah, like,
And
why are
everyone's
you?
like, Chris Pratt, Ryan Reynolds, they are just themselves. They're not doing anything. They're not
No,
like,
Chris Pratt isn't even a bad actor. It's just he's not a voice actor.
well, yeah, but like you need the name power. Like,
Yeah,
why was Scarlett Johansson casting Ghost in the Shell? Because her name's Scarlett Johansson. Like,
yeah.
if it was some other very popular female actress, like if it was a few years ago, it might as well have been Jennifer Lawrence, you know.
Might have been fucking Halle Berry.
If it was way longer ago, yeah, it might have been Halle Berry. If it
Remember,
was
Halle Berry was
even
fucking
longer back ago, it might have been Lucy Liu.
Scarlett. Yeah, remember, fucking Halle Berry was Catwoman. So it's like they really will just shove whoever is the famous person into
Whoever is
that.
the it girl,
Yeah,
could like really like way long back in the day, it might have just been Lucy Liu,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I wouldn't have hated that. Not
Yeah,
because Lucy Liu is Asian, but Lucy Liu is hot.
that's what I
Anyway,
was gonna say. Scarlett Johansson's hot too.
well, that's why she was casted.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but Yeah, stop casting non-voice actors.
In voice acting
Make
roles.
more animated things. Make more animated stuff. We need more of that shit.
I keep
And
meaning to watch this.
stay in shape.
It's a great way to stay in shape, in fact.
Yeah. I
So,
mean,
same
I
thing.
suppose we should say one more thing about like because we were talking about the Amazon thing, and this does relate to the animation thing. If you want more animated products and you want more diversity within the content you're being
Wow,
given,
that hurt.
when I say diversity, I don't even mean diversity in terms of like the representation or all that. I mean diversity in terms of the kind of content you're getting. You have to roll up your sleeves and actually go out and support that content.
Yeah, you gotta
You
open up your wallet
yeah.
and buy some shit.
Yes.
And look,
It's like
man, I know you don't all got it, bro. I know you don't got it like that. I ain't have it like that
that's the
either.
thing. They'll
But
say they don't got it, but they run to go see every stupid Marvel movie in theaters.
yeah,
They
but
buy
I'm talking about the
goofy
people
ass
who don't got it.
comics.
Like, I'm talking about
I'm talking about the people who got it. I'm saying if you have the fucking money, instead of giving your fucking money to Amazon, go buy the things that are from the creators that you want to see. You can't keep complaining about the stuff that you're getting if you're not going to do anything about it.
True.
And you can't say that there's nothing you can do. There literally is. You can go support some of these creators and help them get off the ground.
Like,
Yeah.
start buying from some mom and pop shops. Start buying some art from your local creators, bro. Like, it really is. It really is that simple. Like, it really is.
Yeah.
Like, if you start hurting them where it hurts, which is their wallet, they're gonna get the message. They're gonna get the message, bro. Hell, I was literally watching a video on like how the new CEO of Microsoft has changed his philosophy, like the company's philosophy of like what they're doing, because trying to be the best at everything was not going to work. So they're going to be the best at what they can be the best at.
Good.
And
Yeah, man.
with that, read One Piece.
Same bad place, same bad time. And EJ, I hope you enjoyed your Nas concert, man. I really hope you didn't. I'm joking. Vanguard out.